Okay. We are now up and ready to go. Just for the record, the members of the actual nominating committee are Donald Loggins, Abe Treff, Melissa Minnick, Corazon Valiente, and Naomi Lipnick, who had an emergency and can't join the committee meeting today, but she and I spoke, so I have a sense of where she stands, and I will ratify any decisions made today with her. But you are a quorum of your committee, so you can proceed. Musa Hassoun, Shahid Khan, and Florencia Changajeda are also here and can weigh in. But the final decision or recommendation will rest with the committee members. It looks like we are also joined by John Eliv from Councilmember Vernikov's office. And this is a public meeting by law. It is being live streamed and it is being recorded. Is there a volunteer to chair the committee?
I'll be glad to do it if you want.
Thanks, Donald. So you'll give the report at Monday, February 13th full board meeting.
Right.
And if you don't, I'll just get it started with the background. The precedent and sort of tradition of this board is to renominate the current slate of executive committee members unless somebody is not in good standing or there's been some turpitude or some reason to not renominate. It is my understanding from direct communication that all of the members of the executive committee would be happy to reserve. And the board did pass a motion to allow Joanne Brown to run for chair again this year. There is one exception to this, which is Gail L. Smith wishes to not step off the board, but step away from the executive committee to open up a seat. And Dwayne Joseph has expressed interest in filling that seat, but that is the first vice chair is an open seat. And so with that, have at it. Who wants to add and who, jump on in.
Well, traditionally, we've renominated the board, unless, as you said, there's a problem with one of the members. So I think we really should, renominate the current board. For the vacant position, I think it might be fair to open it up at the meeting to let anybody apply for that one.
That the nominating committee has to nominate for each position, and then every position is opened up for additional nominations from the floor. So I would strongly suggest that you present a full board. I mean, a full slate.
Then I have no problem with him as the first vice chair. Then, does anybody else have any input?
When we nominate, are we saying that that's Dwayne Joseph is going to be it, or are we just saying that we're voting or we're putting him up for vote?
Yeah,
we're putting him up for the vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, I mean, I like the people on the board so far that I've met, and I don't have any disagreeing feelings to be like, I don't want to nominate this person, so.
One of the considerations to his expression of interest was also maintaining a similar demographic so that our executive committee reflects the diversity of our board. And the fact that he has been an active member, that when Joanne can't make, say, borough board, which happens very rarely, but he would have the ability to step into the role and is vocal. Abe, the only people, I should have said this at the top, the only people who are not eligible to run for a seat are the people who served on the nominating committee. And I did mention that to all of you when I asked you if you would serve, but if anybody's had a change of heart and feel like now you're getting in your own way and you really wanted to gun for those jobs, recuse yourself right now.
I'm good.
Okay.
No, I have no plans of running for anything else at this point.
Musa has a hand up.
Hey, thanks. My question was just, I understand Dwayne has shown interest in the open spot. Have you heard maybe I'm getting this wrong, but aren't there like multiple vice chairs? And have any of the other vice chairs conveyed interest in, I don't know, moving up the vice chair chain?
No, you must have got on just a minute late, Musa, because the answer to that is that all of the tradition of Community Board 14 has typically been to renominate the sitting slate unless there's a reason not to. And all members, excessive absences or, or anti-Community Board 14 behavior or whatever. But all of the current members wish to continue their service or are willing to continue their service, with the exception of Gail L. Smith, who'd like to step back from the executive committee. So that's why that's the open spot.
Right. I guess my question was just about how this works typically. I don't mean so much the nominating, but is the executive committee composed of the chair and then all the vice chairs? Is that how that works?
It's the chair, the first vice chair, the second vice chair, the third vice
Right.
chair, the secretary, 2 members at large.
I see.
And I
And
can tell
Gail,
you who's who. Joanne Brown is the chair. Gail L. Smith is first vice. Steve Cohen, second vice. Joe Dweck, third vice. Hindi Bindel, secretary. Carl Henry Cesar and Shahid Khan are the members at large.
those are they all sit up in the front of the meeting during the full board
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is there significance between those numbers, or are they all just like equally representing?
You can review this more completely in the bylaws, which I'm sure you read and just didn't memorize. But they do have specific duties, but it's mostly filling in for the next one. So if Joanne can't make the
That's what-
meeting, then the first vice chair, then the second, then the third. Secretary actually has the attendance duties and vote-taking duties. So it's like that.
Yeah. So it sounds like none of the second, third, fourth, or fifth wanted to kind of like up their number. And that's what I was asking.
There hasn't been an expression of that desire, but I don't think that there would necessarily be a huge resistance to it either. I think that we were just, the nominating committee can decide to shuffle people around if that's what you wish to do. I think we were also trying to just maintain the balance of representation.
Thank you.
Yep. And just remember, everybody on the board, if they have served a full year, or will have served a full session by the time they get appointed, is eligible to nominate themselves or another person for any of these positions. The way it will work is the nominating committee will report out that, we met on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, and we proposed the following slate. Joanne Brown for chair, etc. And then Joanne will thank the nominating committee and say, now we will accept nominations from the floor. Do I have any nominations for chair? Any nominations for first vice? Any nomination for second vice? She'll go through the whole slate. To the extent that there is if there is a nomination for any of the position, and this isn't, this has certainly happened before. If there is a nomination for any of the other position, then there is what's it called? An election at the following month's meeting, the March meeting, there will be an election for that position. I'm trying to think, like there was once, I think most recently that there was a nomination for another member at large. So then the ballot was the 3 people running for member at large, and the 2 top vote getters became the members at large. If there's just a one-on-one, somebody else wanted to run for any of these positions, then, and maybe the most likely position is if, because is the new nominee. Somebody else might say, well, hey, I wouldn't have minded that seat, and then they get nominated for that seat. So that's how that works. I'm sorry if I went on too exhaustively. Melissa,
Moving on, does anybody have any objections to nominating the slate as it stands?
No, I like the slate.
I like the slate also.
I think as it stands then with Dwayne Joseph stepping in, yeah.
On, are we supposed, we're, not we, but the nominating committee, were they supposed to select each position? Nominate each position? Okay, so Donald
Yeah, they
did.
do. They can't just say, these are the folks, you all mix them up. They have to say, this is the person for this job, this is the person for that job. But that would be fun. We could just do like an executive committee musical chairs.
Just out of curiosity too, I guess, do we know that all of these people do want to be nominated?
Yeah, I did a pre-check.
Okay.
So it sounds like you got your slate.
Pretty much so, yes. I mean,
Then-
but let's hear from everybody else. Let's,
Yeah.
some people haven't spoken yet. Does anybody object to the current slate? I don't hear any objections. Does anybody want to recuse themselves for any reason? Like they want to run? Nothing? Sean, I mean, from where I'm sitting, it looks like it's a go.
Looks like it's a go, and I'll type out the notes so that, you know, Donald, you have it all at your fingertips for the February 13th meeting. I will also just give everybody a call. If this is who you're going with, I'll call them one more time and say that they are going to be nominated because, you know, if they've had second thoughts in the meantime, this would be the time before you get there and report them out. My sense is that it's going to be smooth sailing. And then the only thing we don't know is whether there'll be a nomination from the floor. I haven't heard any rumblings, but I don't always hear all of the rumblings. So, I mean, there's 45 of you.
Well, I'm hoping the next time around, though, that we do get more people running for board positions. It'd be nice to have a real election.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we're in a good position for, I mean, I don't know that Joanne would do it another time. You know, I've really enjoyed serving with her and I think she does an excellent job. But she does an excellent job by doing a lot of work. So, you know, there might be some shifting the next time around. And I think we've got some really good people in committee chairmanships, which kind of gives board members an opportunity to, you know, demonstrate their wherewithal to other board. So I think we're sitting pretty. There was a time when, you know, you sort of wondered who would fill the chair's shoes and that sort of stuff. But now there's like a lot of people when you look out to the landscape that could and would.
Absolutely, there's some really good people on board. But as I said, I'm hoping next time around that several people run for different positions to give other people a chance too. Because with term limits, you know, it's going to be much more difficult. I mean, you're not going to get people with 20 years experience on the board anymore.
Yeah, I hear that. I really do. And, you know, Donald, if you want to go behind the scenes and nudge somebody to nominate somebody so we get to have the good fun, you know, a fun election, because it's been a while, but
It is.
anyway, everybody's
It
welcome.
feels like it's been at least 10 years since we had a real election.
I mean, if we want some drama, I'll run for something.
And I wanted to find out what kind of experience are you all looking for someone to be in any of those positions?
Basically, we're looking for someone that can get along with people, that can think on their feet and deal with city agencies if possible.
So do you have to have like a city agency connection? Because I mean, I feel like
Not at all. Not at all. The only requirement is that you're on the board.
Oh, okay. So you could just be regular Joe.
We'd love a regular Joe.
Okay, cool to know.
I'll vote for you next time around.
Yeah, it's a sort of like leadership and representing the board and representing the board in its whole, like not trying to get your point of view and your opinion across as the representative point of view and opinion. It's a lot of objectivity, you know, that you have to bring forth and you know, reminding people out there that we're about process. You know, Joanne didn't start out as chair. Right?
Right.
She's on the so you know, Musa, the only requirement is you have to have been on the board for a year to serve on the executive committee, and I think everybody here has. So, you know, we'll see. It sounds like you have your slate. We'll see what
Absolutely.
happens. We'll see what happens from the floor on the 13th. But yeah, the reason why it's maybe been a little bit dull in terms of not having the intrigue of election is that we have had good executive committee members who show up to the meetings and then represent in the community and bring good information back and stuff like that. And so, and then serve on, show up for all of their committee meetings and just, demonstrate their dedication and all of that.
What I'm saying is with the term limits, we should get, recycle new people onto the board and to the executive committee just to, because we're going to
Yeah.
be losing people at some point.
Yep. Good point and totally heard.
Oh, so there are term limits for the executive board. They don't just.
So there's term
No.
limits for board members, period.
Oh,
Yeah,
Right,
this
into
was in the
effect.
last charter revision where board members were giving, you're only given what, 2-year
terms.
consecutive terms,
Mhm.
and then you're not eligible to be reappointed, but then you can take one term off and come back.
okay.
Good old charter. So any questions, or Donald, do you feel like you have what you need for the report?
I think I have what I need for the report. Yes.
Do you want
You'll
to?
send me a list of the names and the positions, and I'll report it out at the next board meeting.
Okay. Any questions that arise in the meantime, you know where to find me, and I can also, ask Donald anything you have for him. Otherwise, do you all want to go ahead and adjourn?
Why not? I have, unless anybody has any other questions, sure.
I mean, the next thing I have to do is not going to be so fun. So I'm, if you want to make this meeting go on for a little while, I'm willing to hang out.
You're
I have
heading out.
nothing else to do.
Now I'm just intrigued with what you have to do next.
Well, I got to write up a bunch of notes. I just got off the state cannabis community board briefing, so I will write some of that up. But yeah, I got to make some calls.
That's a
to
big
follow up
issue
with my
right
colleagues.
now. All my neighbors
Holy
are complaining about
cow.
that.
I'm
You
in
know,
a mentorship program with the Office of Cannabis Management.
Are you? They did a fabulous job presenting. I was really impressed with their command of the details, their ability to answer questions and stuff like that. But this is a business that's kind of gotten ahead of the policy, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
how to peel back and enforcement is a little bit bananas. So and all cash business is a little bit concerning, from a safety point of view. But this is the fun fact I learned. You know how there's
Joanne, sorry. Sean, have you seen the cannabis trucks in the neighborhood? They're
yeah,
hysterical.
those are not permitted.
Oh, no, not at all, but they're there.
Yeah, they are. So anyway, so a clerk at a cannabis store is called a bud tender.
Yes.
I like that.
That's funny.
On that note, I think we should adjourn and I will go back to tasks at hand.
Light up your cigarette and enjoy yourself.
So Sean, are we going to get a presentation from them at any point?
Yeah, I'm going to circle back and make sure that they come and do a public facing board, direct board presentation, ASAP.
Okay.
Oh,
Be great.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining the meeting.
Thanks, everybody. Well done. Appreciate your
Okay.
time and your effort.
have a good afternoon.
You too. Enjoy the
You too.
weather before it gets too cold.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sean.